Have you ever just looked at the legends of trading, the real titans, and wondered, what do they know that I don't? Well, it's probably not what you're thinking. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the unwritten rules of the market's absolute elite. So, what is it? What's the secret sauce, right? I mean, you look at these absolute giants of the trading world, and you have to ask, what's the one thing they all have in common? Now, your mind probably jumps to a few things. Maybe they're all geniuses, or they have PhDs in math, or maybe they just got incredibly lucky. But the real answer? It's something way more disciplined. And honestly, it's a lot more interesting than just luck. Yep, it all comes down to a set of rules, a foundational set of principles that guides every single decision they make. And we're not talking about some super complex algorithm or a secret formula they're hiding. Nope, we're talking about deep, fundamental principles about the markets, about risk, and maybe most importantly, about themselves. So, you want to know what these rules are? Okay, let's dive in. All right, rule number one, and this one is by far the most critical. It's this. They see themselves as risk managers first and profit seekers second. You know, for most of us, we think trading is all about making money. But for the masters, the game is actually about how much money they can avoid losing. Preserving your capital, that's everything. Because if you lose your chips, you can't even sit at the table anymore. You're out of the game. Okay, so check this out. A perfect example is the trader Larry Benedict. He has a rule. If his portfolio drops just 2.5%, that's it. In a single month, he liquidates everything, wipes the slate clean, no questions asked. Then he starts fresh the next day, trading way smaller until he's back on track. That's not hope. That's not a gut feeling. That is a hard, cold, unemotional rule. You know, it's funny, even Benedict's own right-hand man, his chief operating officer, doesn't describe him as some brilliant stock picker. You know what he calls him? A risk manager. Because they know that the profits will take care of themselves if you can just rigorously, obsessively control your losses. The big takeaway here? Defense. Defense always, always comes before offense. And look, managing that defense means you have to understand a really key difference, the difference between risk and uncertainty. Think about it like this. Risk is like a roulette wheel at a casino. You know the exact odds. There are 38 slots. You know your chances. But the markets? That's not risk. That's uncertainty. You don't know the odds. A surprise inflation report, some crazy geopolitical event. These aren't dice rolls with known probabilities. And that's where the top traders shine. They are absolute masters of making decisions when the future is fundamentally, completely unknowable. Okay, so if they're all so obsessed with not losing money, how in the world do they actually make money? Well, that brings us right to rule number 2. And here's the paradox. Their actual methods are incredibly diverse. There is no single holy grail strategy that works for everyone. The real key is finding an approach that fits you. Just look at the two ends of the spectrum. On one side, you've got the systematic guys, like Michael Woodruff. They're all about using computers to test trillions of patterns, basically trying to get human emotion and bias out of the equation entirely. But then, on the complete opposite side, you have these discretionary traders. They rely on a deep, almost intuitive feel for the market. It's like driving a car for them, just second nature. And here's the kicker. Both of these approaches can be wildly, unbelievably successful. And this really gets to the heart of it. Your edge, your advantage, it has to come from your unique personality and your skills. So think about it. What are you good at? Are you a super patient, detail-oriented person? Maybe an accountant? Well, value investing might be a perfect fit. Or maybe you're an engineer and you think in systems and processes. A quantitative approach might be your thing. See, the goal isn't to just copy what some other successful trader is doing. The goal is to build a method that plays to your strengths. Okay, so that brings us to our third and final rule. And honestly, this might be the most challenging one of all. Because you can have the absolute best risk management plan in the world, you can have the perfect strategy, but if you can't master your own psychology, your fear, your greed, your ego, then I'm sorry, but none of it matters. This is all about the inner game. Just look at Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater. He has literally built his entire company culture around this one idea. See, most of us, we fear mistakes, right? We try to hide them, pretend they didn't happen. But for Dalio, a mistake isn't a failure. It's a puzzle. It's this golden opportunity to figure something out and improve your entire process. In his world, if you're not making mistakes, it just means you're not pushing the boundaries hard enough. And the brilliant part is, he doesn't just leave it as some vague philosophy, he turns it into a concrete system. It's a repeatable process. Step 1, bring the mistake out into the open. Step 2, analyze it, diagnose it completely objectively. Then you figure out what you need to do differently next time, and you actually add that new rule to your process. You're literally, systemically building a better version of yourself, one mistake at a time. Here's a classic example of the kind of psychological trap we all fall into. It's called anchoring bias. Let's say the NASDAQ was at 5,000, and now it's at 4,000. So many people will jump in and buy, thinking, wow, it used to be 5,000, now it's only 4,000? I'm getting a bargain. But what's really happening? Your brain is just anchoring to that old price of 5,000. That past price is totally irrelevant now. The market wizards, they train themselves relentlessly to fight these natural human instincts. They force themselves to see the market as it is today, not as they wish it was and not as it used to be. So, let's bring this all together. What does this actually mean for you? The path to becoming a better trader, a master of your craft, it isn't really about memorizing 100 chart patterns. It's about deeply, truly internalizing these core principles. It really all boils down to these 3 pillars, right? First, you obsess over managing risk. That's your foundation. It's what keeps you in the game long enough to win. Second, you develop your unique edge. That's your offense. That's how you score points. And third, you master your own psychology. That's the glue that holds it all together, allowing you to actually execute your plan, day in and day out, without letting your emotions run the show. And that leaves us with one final and maybe the most important question. And this one's for you. I want you to forget what everyone else is doing for just a second. Forget the noise, forget the hot tips. Ask yourself, what are you uniquely good at? What is your personal skill set? And how can you take that skill, that personal edge, and apply it to the markets? Because finding the answer to that question, well, that's the real secret of the market wizards.